we didn't have Social Security, the poverty rate for those over 65 would be 4 times what it is now. 4 times. I love those signs when I came in. Socialism. Give me a break. What idiots. Socialism.
Was President Joe Biden over the weekend in Illinois campaigning for Democrats and holding an event with one incumbent member of Congress Friday night and then holding a event Saturday morning. And that was just one of the many dignitaries that spanned across the state in the final weekend of the political campaign. Good morning. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Now 7-11, and interested to hear your thoughts. Any of the weekend campaigning change your mind? 217-629-7970. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com, or you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just search out Bishop on Air, and we can connect that way. So, of course, tomorrow is the election, November 8th. Polls open, I believe, at 6. They close at, 7? So you've got all day to be able to vote. A lot of you public sector employees, including state workers, are off tomorrow. So curious if you're going to be voting in person or if you already voted and are just going to be taking the day off to, I don't know, campaign for your favored candidate, help get the vote out. What are you going to be doing on your day off? So a lot of talk over the weekend on a variety of things. Of course, you've got top of the ticket here in Illinois, Amendment 1. Governor J.B. Pritzker held a rally, several over the weekend, to promote Amendment 1, which is supporters say would codify collective bargaining rights in the Illinois state constitution. And those bargaining issues range from workplace safety to wages to benefits and more, including some kind of open-ended statements like, general well-being or something to that effect. So a lot of people raising questions about the amendment and whether or not it's going to lead to higher taxes, because if you've got collective bargaining of certain types of issues, means it could possibly cost more, especially for public sector employment. So that's top of the ticket. But then right after that, you've got U.S. Senate, which Tammy Duckworth faces a Republican challenger, Kathy Salvi. But there's also a Libertarian candidate on the ticket, Bill Redpath. Plus, you've got the governor's race at the very top as well, with Governor J.B. Pritzker facing a Republican challenger, Darren Bailey, and Libertarian candidate Scott Schluter. So Bailey was all across the state visiting various areas in McLean County Saturday. He kind of gave his stump speech about how the state's being run poorly, about how you've got some really questionable things going on in way of the ongoing efforts of education, and how they believe that there's wokeness in the state's education policies that's harming kids. I believe Bailey actually holds a news conference a little bit later on today where he's going to be hosting dozens of parents as well. And that was a line of attack we'll touch on a little bit later on today. But busy weekend of campaigning all across the state. Of course, Darren Bailey making his final pitch and asking that voters stand alongside him as he takes on Governor J.B. Pritzker in the final day of the campaign season here. And here's Darren Bailey talking a bit about the final thing he has for voters to ask.
I will not give up on Illinois. I will continue to stand for Illinois. And the question I have is, will you stand with me?
So again, Bailey's final ask is that Illinoisans stand with him. And he actually had some troubling things that he raised where he was concerned about the ongoing push towards the woke culture that he's raising the alarm about. Again, here's a bit of Darren Bailey.
And this farmer can see that a pandemic of sophisticated wokeness is killing our way of life.
So you can pick up on some of those themes that the Republicans putting out there on the campaign trail. Now, Governor J.B. Pritzker was out on the campaign trail, and he had to stop in two different occasions in his stump speech over the weekend. He talked about his priorities, but he also pushed back against these newspapers that are going out in people's mail. I believe the one here locally is the Sangamo Sun. But here's Pritzker from two different events yesterday where he talks about these newspapers and pushes back against the critics in these newspaper articles that are pushing against the Safety Act and the implementation of no cash bail starting January 1st.
So I just want you to know, when you're talking to people at the doors or you're picking up the phone and calling voters and they're asking you about this, you can say two things. One, complete bull. And two, that Pritzker and Stratton are fighting to keep people safe in their neighborhoods.
So before he said that, he looked around to see if there were any kids. And then another event.
Have any of you received any of these fake newspapers? Okay. Well, I don't know. Do we have any really young kids here? We do. Okay. So I wasn't going to use that word. It's all BS. It's all BS. I mean, it's almost hard to, you can't even, the article after article after article, it's almost, there's not enough time to respond to all that. Here's what I can tell you. There's nobody in the state legislature, there's nobody in the governor's office, none of us want to let violent criminals out of jail, and that is not what the Safety Act does. Let me tell you what we've been doing. We, Democrats, passed budgets that increase the number of state police in our state. That hundreds and hundreds of new state police. In fact, this year we have 300 new cadets.
So Governor J.B. Pritzker having to proactively go out and react to the criticism of the Safety Act. As crime is up there on the list of things that people are worried about as they head into the elections. So you can, again, see where we're at in this campaign with 1 day left over the weekend. Multiple times, Governor J.B. Pritzker having to push back against what he said was misinformation about the Safety Act and no cash bail starting January 1st. Then you get to the big names that came to town. Sunday, of course, the Vice President, Kamala Harris, was campaigning on behalf of Democrats. And before that, you had President Joe Biden in town Friday. And then Saturday, he talked about seeing protesters on his way to an event where he had a chuckle and got a bit of a laugh out of the crowd as well.
If we didn't have Social Security, the poverty rate for those over 65 would be 4 times what it is now. 4 times. I love those signs when I came in. Socialism. Just give me a break. What idiots. Socialism.
So I'd imagine there were people holding up signs critical of President Biden and his various policies, but that's just a little bit of a taste. Nowhere near a complete, collection of all that was said over the weekend because there were just events popping off all over the place. And again, we've got several campaign events today. I believe that Governor J.B. Pritzker is going to be in town a little bit later on this morning. You've got Darren Bailey, who's going to be out. He's holding a Get Out the Vote rally with his lieutenant governor candidate and other guests, and that's going to be later on tonight. But before that, he's also got a news conference he's going to be holding with the Attorney General candidate, Tom DeVore, and what they say are 100-plus mama bears. And that's going to be happening at about 10:30 this morning in Oak Brook. While Governor J.B. Pritzker, he's on the campaign trail. He's going to be already this morning. He's been out. Looks like he was up in, let's see here, Marion this morning, and then he's going to be in Caseyville later on this morning in about an hour and 20 minutes or so. And then at 11 o'clock today, he's going to be in Springfield. And then later on in Peoria, Quad Cities, Rockford. So you can see that Governor J.B. Pritzker is bouncing around all over the state as well. So a busy weekend into a busy final day here for Election Day. Of course, that is tomorrow. Are you ready to vote? Stay tuned. We got much more coming up, including the back and forth about political ads. So stay tuned. It's here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. All right, let's take a look at Springfield's dependable 5-day forecast. Today, the high of around, let's say 60 degrees. There you go. There's the forecast right in front of me. All right, the low down to around 40. We've got clear skies all day long. The sun's out right now. Looks gorgeous. On Tuesday, Election Day, mostly sunny, the high of 61. For Wednesday, mostly sunny, 70 the high. Thursday, sunshine, 73 the high. And then Friday, for Veterans Day, we got a high of 53. Now, looking just a bit further, the weekend Saturday, we're looking at a high of only 35, mostly sunny skies. So we got a cool down coming. Right now, 721 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
Horses and clowns and acrobats. Oh my! The Ansar Shrine Circus brings the greatest show in 3 rings to the BOS Center November 11th through the 13th. And this 75th anniversary edition includes Grace Good from the TBS Go Big Show. Register now at WMAY.com for a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets. It's a weekend of family fun with the Ansar Shrine Circus and 92.7 WMAY.
There are 3 words I always hear when someone from our staff is on the phone. We got it. Hi, it's Laurie from Rex Battery, and whenever somebody calls us and asks if we have a certain type of battery, the answer is always, we got it. Even in those very rare instances we don't, we know how to get it. And if we don't know how to get it, we'll build it. That's how committed we are to making sure you have the power you need. From model cars to real cars, from toys to tractors, dog collars to doorbells, riding mowers to remote keys. If it takes a battery, we have it at Rex Battery. Over 75,000 batteries in stock right now. So if you're wondering if we've got a battery, yep, we've got it. They're fresh, fully charged, and ready to go. Keeping Central Illinois fully powered for over 60 years. Rex Battery, Clear Lake, west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
145 years ago, in 1877, the first telephone line was installed in Boston. Billy the Kid was causing trouble out west, and our nation swore in its 19th president. While all that excitement was going on, Warren Boynton State Bank opened its doors in New Berlin. It was clear that our area was going to need a reliable bank to serve families and farms. Over the next 145 years, many banks would come and go, but through it all, Warren Boynton State Bank has remained focused on its mission to serve our customers and community. We've never felt the need to be the biggest, just the bank you know you can count on. We've kept up with the times and have all the services you'd expect from a bank. But what we haven't done is change our commitment to families, farms, and businesses in Central Illinois. Warren Boynton State Bank, 145 years old and ready for the future. Online at wbsb.net. Member FDIC.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
When the new models arrive in the showroom, the guys at Just Beds have to clean nose smudges off the windows. Please, just come on inside. All new Bemco Arctic Breeze, Max Life, and Chatham & Wells mattresses. This month, twin Bemco mattresses $149, queen mattresses just $229. Save up to $300 with the all-new Bemco Arctic Breeze, Max Life, and Chatham & Wells mattresses. As always, free delivery setup and removal. Visit the Yawn Exterminators on Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Whether it's morning coffee to get you going, a mug of Hot Joe midday to keep you perky, or even a decaf to relax, you need a great mug. Right now, when you donate blood at the Impact Life Donor Center, we'll give you the most awesome camper-style metal mug or a voucher for a $10 gift card to Amazon, Lowe's, Starbucks, Target, or one of our participating businesses. But we know you really want the mug. Even if you try to give blood and find out you can't, we're going to give you a metal mug or a voucher for a gift card anyway. Giving blood is not a big deal, and you're done before you know it. Visit the Impact Life Donor Center today at Wabash and Chatham Road near Goodwill in Springfield, or on South Main Street in Decatur. Please give what's in your heart, because we are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Secure your camper-style metal coffee mug or a voucher for a $10 gift card to participating businesses. Make your appointment today at bloodcenter.org.
The fastest way to head west heaven? Order online and your sub masterpiece will be waiting. HeadWestSubs.com.
I don't want the same old thing. I got a craving for a head West Browning today. Yeah!
To protect his home and family from disaster, Steve used courage, wisdom, and his camera phone.
That should do it.
Way to go, Steve! By simply taking digital pictures of his family's important documents, Steve can always have them stored safely online, no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
The WMAY Daily Poll is sponsored by Adams Pest Control for commercial, residential, real estate inspections, and termite control. Cast your vote with the WMAY mobile app or at WMAY.com/poll.
Today's poll question, after yet another time change, how should we handle it going forward? Leave it on standard time permanently, leave it back to daylight savings time and leave it there permanently, or keep changing it every twice a year. Looks like most of you want to leave it on standard time permanently. About a third of you want to switch it back to daylight saving time and leave it there permanently, or you've got about 6% that say keep changing the time twice a year. Go vote at WMAY.com/poll or on the WMAY mobile app. It's brought to you by Adams Pest Control.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Well, after that busy weekend of campaigning, let's take a look at some of the conversations about political ads. Good morning. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk. We heard a little bit of Governor J.B. Pritzker pushing back on the newspapers that are going out. He says that they're not newspapers. They're seemingly from this group that's been putting out a lot of different content. Some people call it sludge. Others call it the First Amendment. But regardless, these newspapers all across the state, seeming with a local angle, being mailed out, and people are getting these in their mailboxes, and Governor J.B. Pritzker had to push back against those because a lot of it's focused on crime and punishment and public safety. Again, here's the governor.
So I just want you to know, when you're talking to people at the doors or you're picking up the phone and calling voters and they're asking you about this, you can say two things. One, complete bullshit. And two, that Pritzker and Stratton are fighting to keep people safe in their neighborhoods.
So he goes on at a different event to talk about how this is nonsense in the newspaper and that he's working to keep the public safe, and the Safety Act doesn't let people out. Nobody wants to let violent criminals out, he says. But obviously that's a really hard and fast sticking points politically that people who play by the rules PAC, a political action committee that's been chiefly funded by conservative donor Richard Uihlein. And they have been putting out TV ads as far as labeling the governor racist, to even questioning his prisoner review board policies, and so on. But there's been new speculation raised by a Chicago Tribune article about people who play by the rules PAC possibly coordinating with the Bailey campaign. If you're not familiar with political action committees, they're not supposed to be coordinating with any political group or candidate, like a gubernatorial candidate. They can produce and air TV ads critical of whoever they want to, but they can't coordinate with them. Well, a recent Chicago Tribune article hinted at some possible illegal coordination. Here is what Governor J.B. Pritzker had to say about that report, and in particular, him being the focus of these various ads. Here is the governor over the weekend.
Well, it looks like once again, Dan Proft is coordinating with, Darren Bailey. Looks illegal to me, and as I heard it, they could be fined as much as $28 million for coordinating with one another. Look, this is just another example. They don't care about the law. They don't care about the truth. All they're doing is just spewing things out there, trying to coordinate to help Darren Bailey any way they can, no matter what it costs, and frankly, no matter if they're breaking the law or not.
So we'll see if a complaint may have been filed already, and if there's an investigation that shows that there was any coordination, then obviously certain steps can be taken. But that accusation, interesting, coming out just before the election, as you've got people who play by the rules PAC advertisements airing. And Michael Coolidge, he's a spokesman for people who play by the rules PAC. I asked him on Friday for reaction to the Chicago Tribune story, which has a source in there providing text messages and raising questions about Dan Proft as a radio host, having Darren Bailey on, while Dan Proft is also outside of the radio show, leading people who play by the rules pack. So some interesting questions there, but Michael Coolidge with people who play by the rules pack pushing back on that assertion on Friday when I asked him about it.
This 11th hour hit piece full of garbage accusations was prompted by some goofball lawyer trying to make a name for himself.
So that's the response. We'll see what happens further with that story. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and